Okay, 1, 2, 3, test, test, test. Microphone is working. Okay. Today I thought I'd switch it up a little bit, do some more props rather than vehicles. I have decided that I will, like I usually do, go a bit too far with the details, make some of the smaller props that aren't really necessary for navigation, but I think in the end it just makes the map, like the project, that overall it just looks better if it's got these smaller details. So yeah, I put some of these in the PureF, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna do one of these. Just give me 1 second. I should have probably prepared a little bit better before the stream, but so we already made these barrels, sort of. Like I noticed later that my version doesn't have these lids on them, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Let me lower the volume here a bit on the music. One, two, three. Yeah, that should be good. So I'm just looking through the folder right now of screenshots that I've taken. I'm just trying to spot stuff that might be good to add. I knew I took a picture of it was like a screen wall that I think is quite important. If I can find it again. It's these cement bags that I kind of made. I made my own version that's like has a blue logo, but yeah, so that's made already. Probably need to make this thing as well. Maybe these like wired fence thingies. It's another cardboard box that I haven't made yet. Any detail that's like inside of something like this, I don't need to make, since my map will be from like top down. I don't think you'll be able to look inside of this container. Let's see, maybe, yeah, these crates as well, perhaps. Do this thing. Pile of bricks. Container. Oh, here it is. So I think I should start with this one because it's like bright white and it's like blocking off an area. It's probably good to have on the map. So today, instead of opening up that like bake file that I'm usually in, I'll just do it in a blank blend because it gets less messy like that, I think. One thing I need to do though first is I do need to still open up that tunnel blend, and I need to look at the top-down reference, or just copy the top-down reference. I could do that too. Let's see here, tunnels. You won't see this. I'm just going to open up that file and copy the reference image, and then paste it in here. That would work. Because I've turned off if it's selectable or not. There we go. Copy and paste. And then up here we change to texture object color. Let's just find where these screen walls are. So judging from this picture, I can't really tell where this is, but I think it is up here somewhere. Maybe. Like, I think it might be this. These two here. And this is just so I can kind of give it the same width, that's all. thickness and everything, it doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, that'd be good. Then I can put this in reference collection that I disable because I don't need it anymore. And then Alt G to reset location so it ends up in the center of the scene. Then can't remember, I think this is a machine tools thing, pressing T to open up the asset browser, and if I have the mouse up here it opens it up here instead. I'm pretty sure that's a machine tools thing. It might be native Blender, I don't know. Anyway, let's also put a reference man in here. Double check so he's not absolutely enormous. Seems reasonable. Okay. Let's raise this up so in the game it looks like it's taller than the character, right? And I'm gonna say it's probably 2 meters. Let's just split that off, and here I will put an empty and delete this bottom thing because we don't need it. Let's put an edge right here, and then from this view, using the grid, let's put there. And this is basically just where that angle is on the leg down there in the reference. Something like that maybe. Looks like this is like a square piece. So I need to do that instead. So now I know it's 0.04 wide. Let's give it some thickness and set that to be minus 0.04. Also apply the scale to this. Let's 0.2 instead. Do this and then minus 0.2. Okay, that kind of looks worse, I think. I think the issue is just where I put this bend here. Let's put this a bit higher up. Move this in a bit more. Something like that maybe. And then it's got like a little foot down there. Just thinking if I should add that now or later. We could do that now, I suppose. So I'm gonna apply this solidify. It's up at 0.1 there. So this, I could probably delete this bottom face, but I'll keep it just in case there's like a wall that's flipped over or something. So join these two together, put the origin in the bottom of that foot there. Use that empty to mirror across. Lay in here in between the two. So let's think about how to make this this cloth plane here. And also let's save this, just in case it crashes at some point. Cloth wall maybe, you could call it. Right, so they probably made a cloth simulation when they made this, I assume. Let's align this on the y-axis, so it's right in the middle of this leg here on the side. Just checking the reference here, how far down this goes. Looks like almost all the way here. Something like that. Probably not all the way up either. It's good. And before we do anything with the cloth there, let's add this bracing piece. So I'm pressing Alt W to activate box cutter, and then I can basically just paint this in like this, and then I press A to turn it into a mesh instead of a cutter. Edge, sides. I assume this bracing is on both sides, so we could use the empty for that to mirror across. And then I noticed that this foot down here, or whatever you'd call this, it's got like it's like thicker down here. Snap. I mean, it's good where it is, I suppose. I'm just gonna select these faces around. Just holding Alt and Shift to like select the whole loop. And Alt T, extrude from faces. And then I don't know, 0.003. Look good, and then I press S. So it's even. It's a little bit skewed there though, but I guess I could just manually snap that into place. Making sure that's the case here as well. Yeah, very small detail. I probably did not have to do that, to be honest, but it's like part of just practicing, and it's also fun to add these smaller details, I think. Okay, so it looks like it's got like a bracing all around it. So let's think how I want to do this. So if I reduce the size, 0.98 on either side there. Select the whole loop around. Extract. See if that actually looks good or not. Looks okay, I suppose, from a distance. I'll make that a bit thicker though. Smooth. Go to mesh. Let's just make these sharp. Just gonna select the edge rings first. So I'm selecting like each corner here. Sharp. It's the bracing around. It kind of looks a bit wider, I guess. I select this, and then selecting this vert last, changing to active, That makes us snap it to either one of these legs on the sides. It's better. Can't remember if I parented this or not. Probably didn't, but I'm unparenting it now. And then let's also snap this to edge, making sure that this isn't intersecting too much. Okay. Then it's got these, not sure what to call this, like hooks holding it. Probably just put that many edges. So 3 there and 3 there, right? It's basically just circles. Good. Let's see here. Let's put a circle here. Vert count doesn't really matter right now for this. It's because I'm planning to bake this down later, so take that face in the back, mirror across. Merge is checked there. Not that it matters that much in this case, but this is going to end up being such a small detail. I don't think this matters that much, but select these 2 verts maybe, or maybe even these, so it's a bit more visible. And let's do the same thing again here. Be snapping to edge right there, remove faces. Actually, it could intersect a little bit here, I think. It'll be fine. Turn on wireframe, Alt-D, and I'm gonna say edge center for the snapping. And here I want to change where the origin is. So right now I'm selecting the top, very top edge of this cylinder, and then putting the cursor there, right in the center, and then I'll move the origin there on the instanced version of this ring or hook or whatever you would call it. And that's just so now I know that if I place this on any one of these, it should be very well aligned. Do this, rotate 90 degrees, snap to the edge there, then snapping to this edge up here. And then this one and this one, you see it's quite nicely. This we could probably mirror. I gotta be careful not to do it with the plane. Let's do it with the empty instead. It's better. This empty could be moved up to the center of this. That doesn't disturb anything else. To here as well. Across. Okay. And then it looks like there is a small difference, and that's just that these are right up in the corner. They're kind of like that. Right, and since these already have the modifier, I don't have to redo the same work on top. Cool. So let's think about how to make this look somewhat similar. I'm just going to duplicate that and move that to a new collection called backup. And it's just a plane, but it saves me the hassle of making that again if I need to. So let's subdivide this a bunch of times, like maybe, I don't know, 60 we could try. Maybe even more, maybe 100. Okay, and then I'm going to change the type of selection. So select circle, and I'm going to reduce the size to something like 20 probably. Can I change the size with a shortcut somehow? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. And then in edit mode, I'm going to use this to select all of these circles. So I'm still on that plane. It's not super important where I click here, but just trying to get it somewhat in the same place. Let's make that a vertex group. Call it pins maybe, or hooks. Pins will be good. Assign. Okay, and then I will turn this into a cloth. Blender is freezing up. I might be on a keyframe other than 0. Let's see here from the front. Okay, so if I play this now, it should just fall. Might have given it too many vertices, I guess. Let's see if it crashes. Give it some time. Okay. Maybe I'll try. Make your outline. Everything here needs to be unselected. Let's try that again, just to make sure. No, I need to reduce this a bit, I think. Probably would have been better if I used a subdivision subsurface on this. Set to simple. Okay, so let's fix that real quick. Unless it crashed. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the cloth just for now. And let's put in a, what's it called again? Decimate on subdivide, and then I'm just going to reduce the number here. Something like that maybe. Okay, that doesn't really work, does it? I think it's better I just bring back that backup I did. Good thing I did that. So let's just make a copy of this again, move it into collection, hide that. And then instead now we're just going to use the subdivision subsurface at the simple. I'm just going to increase that value, make sure wireframe is turned on. And we can... I was hoping I could preview this, but maybe I can't. Let's apply that. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do this step again. Doesn't have to be exact. It's probably even better if it's a little bit off in some places. Okay, let's set the vertex group here again. Pin this time and assign. Let's turn off the wireframe and put the cloth back there. Now let's just see, this should just fall down now, right? Yes. I think the reason why it might be so slow now is because I'm streaming at the same time. And I'm on a single PC setup, so that might be why. And this is not going to make it any better now that I turn on this pin group thing. So now that it should be held up by those markings I did there. It kind of works, but need to change the settings a bit, I think. Let's see here. Shrinking factor. I'm going to set it to something like 0.5. This is a very high number, but I just want to see what that means. Okay. It would be good if I had like something to dry leather on or something, maybe. So that doesn't really seem to be happening in the picture, so I'm going to turn that to 0 again. Let's see here. Change the material maybe here to leather, just to see what that would look like. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. And I'm going to save this, I think. So I'm pretty happy with this, to be honest. So let's just convert to mesh. And then if I go into sculpting here, go into cloth brush. And then over here, there's some tools I could use to like make this look a little bit different. And I think I need to change, I think it's a stroke to, is it anchored? I can't remember really. Space maybe. Yeah, let's reduce the strength to 0.2 and the radius increase to like 300. Maybe not that much, maybe 150. Increase the strength again to 0.5. Trying to just give it some regularities. This would have worked if it was like a cloth or something, like on a table. Set it to 0.05. It's still very pronounced, even though I set it so low. Turn on dynamic topology there, see if that helps. Definitely kills performance though, so let's turn that off again. Maybe I should try a different brush, like maybe maybe checking if that actually happens in their version. Not really though. By pinching, and maybe just try to make these folds that's already there a little bit more pronounced. Maybe that's a better way to do this. Let's just reduce this to 0.3 maybe, 0.3. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's not super obvious, but it does make these folds look a bit sharper. Here, let's say if I turn the shadows on. Cavity as well, and outline perhaps. Then auto smooth. So I think this frame needs to be a little bit flatter. Let's do something like this. It doesn't have to be round, so it's okay. I kind of like this, but it's a bit too sharp. Maybe I could just do this, you know, like smoothen that a bit. Still too much. Let's lower this to 0.08 maybe. I'm just trying to get like a subtle version of that. So let's see. I'm not very used to using these tools. But maybe I could figure out simulation limit factor added relative to the size of the radius to limit the cloth simulation effects. I think that made it better. Like at least, yeah, a little bit. I would like to have like some of these going across as well, but maybe if I grab it and pull it a bit, maybe increase the strength. Oops. What if I just... Like this probably would have been avoided if I fiddled a bit more with the cloth settings in the beginning. If I made the cloth a little bit more, what's the word? Like a bit more slack. I think this would have been done through the simulation. But yeah, I don't want to overthink this either, to be honest. Maybe now this will be easier actually to use the grab cloth. Does that still make... It makes too many ripples, that's the issue. In simulation boundary, lock the position of vertices in the simulation fall-off area to avoid artifacts. What is? This is kind of nice. Still too many ripples. Increasing the mass does nothing, it seems. What if I reduce this a lot? It doesn't seem to do anything, that's the thing. Need a bigger brush, or you know what? I'll say this is this is done. I'm overdoing it already, so Not the whole thing, but this plane is done. Let's put just a normal plane in now with the same size. Made a cube there, but T cube. We'll delete the back. Let's see here if I can make this. So I want to bake not just the cube though, or not the cloth. I want to also bake the stuff up here. Right now this is just a plane. I might want to make this, maybe a cube would be good actually. Extrude this all the way. Gonna check the thickness of the cloth here. Let's flatten it a bit. This won't be needed. Select all of these. Up here, relations, make single user, object and data. And then I could probably just merge all these now, as you see, applying all the modifiers as well. Join them together. This object, let's just name this cloth wall section or something, just so I know what that is. We want to have I guess I want all of it to be diffuse, but then I would need to texture it now as well. Diffuse and normal. I'm just going to open up textures.com and I'm going to search for Tarp. I guess I'll just grab something that looks somewhat similar to the game. I guess this one could work. Downloading that picture to my hard drive. It's new material. I need to resize this. let's use object here and change the size here, should work. Folds might not match up, but it's alright. See if we can use ambient occlusion node here. I don't like this seam that's in the middle there, so let's just change the size of this a bit more. It won't really matter if it's super enhanced like that. Okay. So this applies also to the cylinder that's around it, but I could change that later. So right now we're just focusing on the cloth. Let's make it a bit less rough, maybe even add a roughness mask to it. Something like that maybe. Change that to non-color. So that is what that looks like. So object. All around there so we can control it a bit better. Let's preview in cycles. Change this to be a different HDRI. So I'm gonna pick one that has like a sharp light. Okay, I also see we gotta reduce this ambient occlusion a little bit. Let's turn this up. I think I could also if I go into vertex paint, let's say paint dirty vertex colors, and then change some of this these settings dirt only. Okay, let's try that. It's double checking, so it's called attribute. Yeah. So this should work kind of like a second ambient occlusion almost. Let's just do that, I guess. That's without it, that's with it. It doesn't really do a lot, to be honest. Color ramp there as well. This one could be completely black. That just makes that look a little bit more, it stands out a bit more. Okay. Could add some dirt to it as well, I suppose. I'm just gonna use another roughness map for that. Set it to, I don't know, multiply, I guess. Reduce this factor or increase it, I suppose. Just make it very subtle. I don't know, kind of liked it when it was a bit dirty like that. Okay. And then let's add a second material. So this we could name cloth, and then this one here, let's name it metal. So I just do this now. I'm gonna select the cloth, select linked. So now I've only selected the cloth, right? And I'm gonna Control I to select everything else in the same mesh object, and assign the metal material. So I guess we could just do the same thing here. So they have like a dark gray color. And some edge wear maybe. I mean, I don't have many edges, I suppose. Just add a roughness map to this as well. Like this one. Set to object. I mean, I reckon that's pretty good so far. Let's see if we can bake this, if that works. So I want to bake the cloth wall section to target, and then select this cube. Need to make sure that the UVs are okay for this, so just unwrapping it. World orient. Snapping to vertex up here. I mean, I guess we could just... These will look the same on either side. Top and bottom might also look the same, or at least very similar, so could overlap those two as well, probably. Guess we'll find out otherwise. And then line similar. I'm gonna check this to vertex position, correct vertices, click that button again. That makes it automatically overlap, like close verts. Let's change this to corner snapping. Change this to a lower checker box. I'm leaving this space around it just in case I want to bake the rest of it, the legs and stuff to it, but maybe it could be a bit bigger. I don't think it's going to take up that much space anyway. Something like that. It's just slightly bigger, I suppose. Right. Make this big enough so it overlaps the model below. Seems fine on that side, Doesn't matter, I suppose. It's gonna clip there anyway. And yeah, diffuse and normal. Export settings, don't need to change anything there. 1K. I do like to keep this a bit lower. It's gonna look worse because of it, but from a distance it shouldn't make a difference. Bake margin is fine. It is just one object, so we don't need to change anything here. Transparent background, sure. UV settings, turn off the auto detect UDIM. That should be it. Let's try to bake it, see what happens. Okay, so that's the normal, that's the diffuse. I just realized we probably also should have kept the roughness. So let's just bake it again. Okay, so it bakes in the shadow from the pillar that's in front of it. So I think if I change here to where is it? Isolate objects, I think that won't happen. So let's try that again. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate this to the side now, and I'm gonna see what it looks like. So this would be, I just called it cube, that was pretty stupid, but let's just try it. Cube, then normal, roughness. I mean, it kind of looks a bit bad up here, but apart from that, this is not a noticeable detail. I think that's fine. So now I could probably just delete that and this like high poly wall section. Let's just put an HP underscore in front of that. It's back into place, and then I'll move this high poly thing into the backup. Unhide the other stuff. So now we have that detail, but instead of it being like a trillion polys or whatever we had before, now it's just a cube basically, but it retains that detail. So let's fix this, I guess. Scene here. Let's just do that, I suppose. Just everything sharp. Same thing here. So what we could do is just forget about the fact that we got that other high poly thing. Like, forget that even happened. We could just think that this was imported from a picture online or whatever, and this could just be baked down again together with the other UVs. So let's just unwrap this, apply scale first actually, let's do it again. Turn that on. rotate this. Pull and pack. Right, so if I want to bake this to a new UV, would have to make another UV map, I guess. Just like I did with the vehicles. Set to messy. UV. Maybe that step is not needed actually if I'm baking multiple objects. But let's set these to that same metal material that I use for the hooks and stuff. See, I need to change this to be box projection. 3. Select these materials. Okay. I do want to add some stuff here though, because these are like straight corners, like pointy corners, as opposed to like what this was. This was like a rounded thing. So let's add some edge work here, maybe using Fluent add-on. Something like that, but put this into the factor, put this into the top. Let's reduce that a bit. And instead of this color, just I'll use the same color, but I'll increase the brightness a bit. It's 0.3, so it creates like a highlight. Maybe a bit higher, something like that maybe. It's subtle, but I think it looks better like that. Highlights should come last, I think, because even if it's dirty, right, the light would reflect on the corner anyway. So on top of this, we could add a cavity as well. Just do the same thing. It's up here, put this into the factor instead. So now every place where there's a cavity should be white. Reduce this to 0.01 maybe, something like that. Even lower, probably. Set it to be a very dark color, so it's to darken. I'm surprised it didn't add something there, but maybe get the pollution do that maybe? Let's see. Color ramp here. It's adjusting that amount a little bit. So we could, like before this goes into the factor, these two could mix. Anything that is white, so we could invert this, flip the ramp. Anything that's white becomes dark, basically. So let's just put this to lighten. These two together make that, which makes that. Let's see, we mute that and enable it. Doesn't really make a difference. Very subtle. Let's see here. I'll set this to a constant. Put an invert node there instead. It just makes it easier to think, at least looking at it like it should be, you know, rather than basically reversing it in my head to make it work. Okay, darken, seems to work. Yeah, so it does add something there now. Cool. No, so both of these objects, or all of these objects rather, they need to have their own UV that's being used to project. So this will use the messy one. UV map will be the new one for all objects. So if we do that, go in here. Select all these legs, I suppose. Let's move these aside for now. Select these, textile density, 512. Set. And then using UV Pack Master, it'll say pack to others, and it'll try and fit it in wherever it can. We can also turn on heuristic search there and press pack again. My bad, pack to others. Don't like that it doesn't keep the rotation of these, to be honest. But that's okay, I suppose. Okay, let's try to bake all this down now. So this time we can remove this, add all these. Do not need to bake to target this time. Do not need to isolate any objects, or we do actually, otherwise we can add that shadow there. Diffuse roughness, normal, looks good. Looks good. Multiple objects to one texture set, and this will be called I don't know, ground zero cloth wall. And then by baking it. UV editing here. What do we call it? Ground zero cloth wall. So it seems to have done it. Let's look at the diffuse instead. That off. Yeah, so it's losing a lot of detail because it's so low resolution, right? But it does seem to work. So now I will go in here to smart apply. I think this is a hard ops function. It just applies all of the modifiers basically for you, so you don't have to do it manually. And holding shift will create a duplicate, but it will apply all the modifiers to it. For some reason though, it didn't work that time, I think. Let's check. No, it seems to work. Oh, strange. Can apply everything, join it together. Putting the empty, or the origin rather, right in the center there at the bottom. Then we are gonna remove the materials. Add a new material. So it seems I lost some more detail on this part because of that last bake, but not a big deal, I guess. It's not very visible. Now 0. Roughness. Put it into a normal map. I'm honestly not sure I even need the normal map. I mean, let's just view this like this. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it works. So now this is just a cube now, rather than what we had before. So if we look at, let's look at the vert count of this thing. Turn on statistics here, maybe hide that thing. Not sure if it even matters, to be honest. So it's, I guess it's the 96 here with this this is now. If we compare it to the backup, the cloth wall I made earlier, like if I would put this on the map, it's 75,457 verts. So baking it down in this case makes a big difference. And from a distance, like when I place it on the map, nobody will be able to tell what version I used anyway, right? One detail I kind of forgot, I guess, would be the little nails on the screws, whatever this is. But yeah, that's done. I thought I'd be streaming a bit longer today, but I think I'll wrap it up here. I'll stream again tomorrow around the same time, and I'll do another prop. I was looking at this one here because it's got different feet, you know, but I think I'll just use this one again for that, because it's such a small detail that nobody would be able to notice anyway. But maybe like a box or something like this in the PureRef window on the right. Specifically like larger things like this box probably would be good to have. Dutable containers. Maybe this garbage thing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But tomorrow, sometime after 6 PM, Central European time, I'll start the stream and we'll do another prop. Okay? Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.